this goes for anyone. I'm gonna clip it and send to supporters channel. So you go here, you click plus, saber. I suggest you put it up there. Then you go, it's straight up gonna start in mesh. This is the diameter. You can change it if you want it to be thicker or thinner. It's like really thin, or you want it thicker, whatever you want. I usually go and leave it like this, put it here, then put it all the way up to 1, and then I remove the Z range to 0, and this is gonna be the blade. I usually call it blade. On the blade I do whatever I want. So after doing this, this is the main thing. I go into here, I click on the first one and then click delete so that I remove all of the points. Now I just have a white thing. Then I make it red. And then I choose, usually I choose like either 0.25 or 0.20, depending on the brightness that I want. You can also just leave it at alpha 1, which is the maximum, not maximum brightness, but it's like the usual that you would see for most sabers and other people's sabers. Also, I think you should either use hue shift or notes color if you want to see your colors. So now whatever color you put in here, it's going to be just your colors, but you should tend to turn it into red, or if you're making something more elaborate, use color shift, or just don't use colors and make it whatever you want. Then if you want to play with opacity, you can play with it here. Right now I don't want to. Scale works differently. It's too complicated to explain it to you right now. Then I usually always activate depth right, because it's going to it's basically going to make it so that whenever you look into the saber from the below or top, it's going to it's going to just look normal. It's not gonna have issues. So because I'm just going to have 2 colors, I'm gonna make it like 24 pixels for main resolution quality, because it essentially defines the resolution here. So I want it to go from bright to dark, like almost black. There we go, that's what I want. So that's good enough. Now I'm going to copy this and I'm going to name it handle. Then I'm going to go here and put minus 0.17 on the Z range from, and 2 is going to go to 0. And now you see that it looks weird. So I want it to be like this, which now is just fully, it's basically just a cylinder. Now I want to keep these colors, but I want to put a handle on it, handle mask. So now you see that it looks like that. And it looks kind of too dark. I really would like to have it be bright. So I'm actually going to make it brighter by putting the value of vibrance higher. You know, it looks like that. Now something else that I want to do is put rings around it. Now what I'm going to do again is remove the handle. I'm going to make it full white. Now you see that it looks really strange, and that's because it's depth written, so it's depth right, and it's on top of something that has the exact same size. So I'm going to make the rings ever so slightly bigger. So I want it to be 23. Now you see that it's full orange and it's on top. Now I just want these to be from minus 0.17 to minus let's say 16. Now we have something there. And I want another one that is going to go from minus 0.01 to 0. And I'm going to go to the handle, and I'm just gonna make a funky, oh, not the ring, the actual handle. So these are rings. Let's call them rings. Always name your stuff, otherwise you're gonna screw up by default, like I just did. So I want to make some funky looking thing. So this looks weird. So instead what I want is the opposite. Whoops, I messed it up by dragging that. You can drag these around. Not these nuts though, but these handles. There we go, there's something. Now this is a blade. Now I have my saber that I wanted, which you can see. It's a very simple saber. Now there's no trail, which we can just make right now. So by default, it's going to be fully white. It's going to be 1 meter. It's going to be blade. So if you want this, fine. You can just skip all of this and go to material and make it whatever color you want. There you go. There's a big trail that is really bright and your color. Or you can lower the opacity, the alpha, and it'll not be as bright. Again, I really like 0.25. There we go. I'm gonna just keep this. There we go. There's the trail. Now I could just save this and call it a day, but I want it to be a tip trail. When you do a tip trail, this happens because it's essentially too big. So usually you would want this around the same amount as this. Usually this is not gonna help you. So you want 0.16. So 0.16 is already a pretty good width. Most people would use this value. Now, I want to make it a little bit more interesting, so I want the scale to be something like this, and then cut this and make it linear. Now, there you go. Now it doesn't look like much, but if I make it bigger, you're gonna see that there's a thing going on there. Now I can go into material and make it even more noticeable like this. And then I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna go 0.16 again. And there's my little custom trail. Now that's my own trail. Now if I want, I can, let's say, put 2 colors. This one is gonna be really bright, then the other is gonna be softer. Now there you go, there's a custom trail. Now you can do like copy the, you see, copy selected module, paste selected module, simple trail. And now you can change this to blade. Now you don't really see anything because blade is the much higher value. So let's do 16. And now you see the blade trail as well. Right now it looks strange because I have smoothing on. So let's just save this. And sigh. I'm gonna call it SLP for simple. And then, what am I calling this? Ethan. But ether. There you go. So now I just go and get my ether saber. It's before whips. Come on. Come on. There you go. And there's my very simple saber. I can just go play.